So your insecurities are killing pretty much every single thing that you do. When I say everything, I mean everything. Everything. Everything you touch, everything that you try to create, every single aspect of everything that you're doing artistically. And the reason is, what's going on, gang? This is Ian, your very friendly neighborhood Viking, coming back at you with another motivational Monday video. This week, I'm gonna talk to you about why your insecurities are killing every single thing that you do. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the format, I give band tutorials with real-world advice from real-world experience from a working class musician, just like you guys. I'm struggling to get my stuff and our stuff up there, so I do every single thing that I can to make sure you guys get these helpful hints and tips, everything that I know, just free to you guys. Now, before we get into today's video, I want you to please just do me this one favor. Go right here, hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on so you get all of the content that I push to you guys every single week. And for every new 100 followers on all the combined platforms, we will be giving away something free to you. So if you want something free, follow us. Last week I talked about streaming platforms, which ones you should go with to release new music. And there was a lot of shocking numbers that I dropped in those videos about how much and how little these streaming companies pay you. YouTube is the worst one. The best one right now for payout is actually Napster. And I know that's crazy, and I know a lot of people think that that's old, dead technology type thing, but they actually are still a thing. And as I mentioned, they did stream more than 10.8 billion songs in 2019 alone. And they currently are the highest paying streaming site. Definitely something to look into. Tidal is right behind them, and I don't remember who's behind them. I'll put a link up here. I'll put a link in the description. You can definitely check that video out if you want to learn more. Now, I want to talk to you guys about insecurities because I feel like it's something that gets missed. Yes, we all have them. Everybody's insecure about something. When we're just talking from a band or musician perspective, the insecurities can run if you feel like you look overweight on stage, or if you feel like you look silly doing a certain move or something like that when you're playing, or if you make a certain face when you play drums, like Cole does. It can range from anything to that. That's just the superficial, that's like the show part of it. When you go further, you can go down to, does it affect your writing? Does it affect your recording? Does it affect your social media stance? Does it affect all of those things? And the answer is, yes, it does. It absolutely does. If you think that many problems can't stem from one problem, you're wrong. Insecurities, especially when you're in an artistic expression type of form, like music, keeps you from being who you want to be. And that sucks because you've worked so hard to get to this point, and now you want to put that out into the world. And if you are insecure about how you're going about doing that, that's going to keep you from delivering the best show or the best quality of the show that you possibly can. And that sucks. Not everybody has that thing, that level of comfort, that automatic, I don't give a fuck kind of an attitude. Not everybody has that. A lot of people have to work into it. Most people have to work into it. You've heard horror stories about famous people being in a live situation and not being able to look at the crowd, or puking before a set, shitting their pants on stage. We've all heard those stories. They're there because those people were insecure, and that's just how it goes. Everybody is. It's a big deal, especially when you're playing live, especially when you're on big shows. You have to be perfect or as close to perfect as you possibly can be. So you don't want to have those infiltrating who you are trying to portray, or the show or the character that you're trying to portray. That's the one side, like I said, and the other side, you don't want those insecurities keeping you from writing the music that you are trying to write. I'm not talking skill-wise, I'm talking insecurity-wise. It will trickle all the way down to that, and especially even in your recording. And if you have weak recordings, that's the worst. You can have a bad show, but if you have a bad recording, well, that's there forever. Like I was saying with your social media stuff, if you are insecure about social media things, some of that comes from a lack of know-how. I've run into a lot of that with people that I try to help, and it's because maybe they don't think a picture is worth taking, or maybe they didn't think it was that interesting, or maybe they're just doing nothing and they don't think that they're interesting, or whatever it may be. I'm here to tell you, you're also wrong about that too, because a lot of people, and I've said it before, they want that back seat. They want want to know what your life is like on stage and off stage. They want that look into your life. So everything, even if you don't think so, is actually noteworthy. It's picture worthy. It's to tell a story worthy. There's a million stories that you can tell in a day. That's what things like Instagram or social media in general is for. It doesn't always have to be pushing your brand, pushing music or something like that. You can use them to tell stories, and that's one of the best parts about them. And if you feel insecure about getting in front of a camera and making a video like this, or taking a picture or posting a picture of yourself or whatever, there's other ways, but you also have to kind of get around that a little bit. And some of you will probably complain and go, well, I don't want to create content, I just want to create music. Well, you know what? Too fucking bad. That's not the world we live in right now. Somebody in that band has to get on this train and make sure you guys are doing that. That's how businesses work. They do need to evolve. Now, your insecurities can also keep you from having good fan interaction. That is one of the most important things. Aside from these other things that I'm going to name, that's a really, really good one. If you aren't good at talking to fans, when someone does want to talk to you, you're going to fuck that up. I'm not saying that because I want you to fuck it up. I'm saying it because you need to have good social skills when it comes to meeting and greeting your fans. They had the balls to walk up to you and want to talk to you. You need to be able to form good sentences and to be very appreciative while you're speaking to them and let them know how much it means to you for them to actually come up and speak to you. That's one thing that I'm actually pretty good at least I think so. When the fans come up and they want to talk to us, I really like to chop it up. I want to know who they are, and I want to know what made them come here, and blah, blah, blah. I want to know all about them. I try to befriend anybody who steps up to our merch table. Not because of the business side of it, because like I like meeting people. One of the most important things to me about touring is meeting new people in these crazy cities and knowing their stories. And honestly, being able to integrate those stories into the stories that we're trying to tell through music. So your fan interactions can suffer if you aren't secure in having those kind of conversations. Now, what I mentioned with the writing is that insecurities can definitely affect your writing when it comes to all of that, because you have what you want to put out and then what you think you can put out. That's not the same thing. You can probably put out what you want. It's just that you don't think that you can. You don't think you have the skills, or you don't think that you'll be able to for some reason. And that's bullshit. Every skill that anybody has ever perfected, they were shitty at it once. Every skill is a learnable skill. Don't let anybody ever tell you any different. You can get there. It's just gonna take maybe some extra steps. But if you're willing to put the time in, it's gonna be there and you'll get it. With your writing, it's the same way. A lot of times when I write, I think of the song in my head. It's like I already hear it playing, and then I just write those notes I hear in my head as best as I can. And when it comes to doing demos or whatever, like I'll make demos here for Cole. Hey, I have this killer idea. Check this out, let me know what you think, because he also has something that he heard too. And then we just try to meet in the middle, but we don't ever let the degree of difficulty or our insecurities get in the way of writing music that we want to write. It's not pushed at if these people are gonna like it or these people are gonna like it. No, it's what we want, and it's as long as it makes us happy, hopefully you guys will like it. You have to kind of just let it fly when it comes to your writing. And when I said about recording, definitely that can happen. And I'll tell you 100% sure that it can happen, because it happened to me, even on our last record. I've played guitar for a long time, and I haven't been a singer as long as I've been a guitar player. So when it comes to insecurities, I am much more insecure about my vocals than I am my guitar playing. That's just the way it is. I just always figure myself as a guitar player first, a singer second. So when it comes to tracking vocals, I am a little bit more insecure about it. You hear all these metal bands and you hear all these great vocalists, and I go, man, I'm not as good as that guy. Or I wish I could scream like that, or I wish I could have those kinds of clean vocals, or whatever it may be. It's always gonna torture me. I think it's always gonna torture everybody like a little bit. But when the insecurities start to eat at me, it makes me suffer when it comes to the recording. If I think my vocals aren't doing as well, that means that when I'm actually recording those vocals, I'm gonna probably be more apt to messing up. I'm gonna think that I'm trying hard, but I'm not trying as hard as I could be. I just think that I can't do it in the moment. And then I start overthinking it to death. Same thing with recording a guitar part. If I'm recording a guitar part and I have a little problem with my hands or something like that day, my left and right hand sync isn't there, whatever it may be, it's going to bug the shit out of me. And sometimes you just have bad days. Sometimes you just are off, whatever it is. Like, shit just happens sometimes. But that doesn't mean that you're not good at it. That just means that you are just having a rough day. But what it's gonna do is it's going to destroy
your psyche.
It's going to just torment you mentally into thinking that you can't do it. And your record, your song, whatever you're making will suffer for it. That is a real thing. Now, some of you guys will be asking me like, well, cool, thanks for labeling all the shit that we already know, but how do we fix it? Well, I don't know, really. I think a good way of fixing it is if you record everything. And I don't mean just like recording music and stuff like that, but record everything. If you want to start making videos, but you know, you can just trash them if you want to. Start making videos until you feel comfortable. All of this stuff, it's not important because you can just hit the delete button. Hey, you have the delete button for a reason. You can just start over. Take as many takes as you need to. Start over as many times as you need to. It's all there. You can just sit and edit it in the privacy of your own home. Just always remember that. You can just start over. It's not a big deal. But if you want to get into something like this, like making videos, you have to be doing it all the time. You have to get comfortable in front of the camera. Even if you go back to my very first video, I've always been comfortable talking to people, but that one compared to this one, night and day difference. It just takes time. That leads me to the next thing. If you really want to fix this stuff, it really just takes three things: consistency, persistence, and time. That's it. And I think that's all you really have to do. Do it all the time, stick with it, give it some time, and you'll be great. I believe that you will be great. Anybody who just puts a little bit of time, a little bit of effort into it can achieve so much. They usually just get fed up so goddamn fast. And so don't. You just have to stick with it. And I think that's the key to overcoming most insecurities. Putting in work to get rid of the problem and then just sticking with it. And as long as you're making the journey from A to B, I think you're going to be happy. Nobody's going to be perfect. As long as you're making an effort and you're doing the best you can to do something about that, you'll be a lot happier. And that will hopefully filter through all of the facets of your life. The one thing I want to say to you before I go is don't be afraid to show your cracks. It lets other people know that you're not afraid, and you break down that wall, and it helps them not be afraid too. So what you're doing for yourself is in turn helping other people too. There's a lot of people who say, oh, you've been an inspiration to me for whatever the reason is. That's great. I was really only trying to help myself. If it worked for you too, that's awesome. Because most of us are really just trying to help ourselves. And if it helps other people, great, that's even better. That should make you feel even better about what you're doing and should help you eliminate those insecurities quickly, or at least faster than what you were. That is gonna do it for me this week. I hope you guys found some awesome value in this video. I know this isn't really a lot of the stuff that I tend to talk about. It's tend to stick more business-wise, but it is something that I felt like it was necessary to talk about because I have a lot of those insecurities too, and I know I'm not the only one. So I hope you guys got some good value and some options on how to fix any of the problems that you have going on. So if you did, please make sure you just like it, share it, go in the description of this video, follow us on those 4 main social media sites: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. That would be super awesome with you guys. I hope you all have an amazing Monday. I hope you have an even better rest of the week. I'll see you next time. Later.